What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the podcast. We got Gioni here. Gioni, I know just before we even hit record, we're going to dive into some stuff. But we were on the topic of who would you label a killer in the NBA?
Right
I
now,
know
or just
it don't really matter. Let's think of all time. So let's just cut off the regular NBA right now. So we said Michael Jordan. We said Kobe. Like I said, I want to label LeBron as a killer. LeBron has some big games, but LeBron isn't that type of dude in like the big moments. I mean, quite honestly, he didn't really need to. But you had guys who'd be like killers. Like, I'm putting y'all out of your misery. We're not doing this. Like, it's time to say bye-bye. AI, yeah, granted it wasn't postseason, but granted not to say that AI wasn't just because he didn't win a championship, and AI was that dude, and he decided to stick it out with the 76ers and all that. If T-Mac's career would have worked out differently, absolutely.
I would say Paul Pierce.
I'll say Paul Pierce too. Granted,
if you're a wing and you got to guard Paul Pierce in the fourth, I know you're.
But we're not saying that all these guys are on the same level as each other, because obviously I'd put Kobe ahead of Paul Pierce, obviously Mike, and I would even say T-Mac to a degree as well, but obviously it's not career-wise, it's like having that killer mentality. Like,
what was the most points Paul average?
You said average? I don't know, like 26, 27, I believe, but it wasn't like he had like the 126 point per game season and then he just fell off the map.
He was similar to, I'd say, Joe Johnson. Like, not really athletic.
No. If anything, Joe Johnson was similar to Paul Pierce. But that was the thing when it came to Paul. He was like a weird kind of star. Like, people wouldn't call him a superstar, but people wouldn't call him just regular all-star. He was a star. So he was that dude. He wasn't the most athletic guy. He wasn't the best defender.
Don't get me wrong. You could dunk on somebody if you wanted to.
When he was younger and he was starting to get older.
No, he dunked on somebody on the Heat. I think it was Joe Anthony, actually.
I remember he's gotten a couple bodies, just to say that. But pretty much the main topic of today's podcast, we're going to try to talk about all 30 NBA teams. Well, granted, not even, because the original plan was to talk about who's the greatest player in that franchise, and does the player that's the best on the team right now, do they have a chance of overthrowing them, this, that, and the third. But there's some just outliers right off the bat. Like out in Milwaukee, you got Kareem's the best in Bucks history. I don't think Giannis will, because that means you're going to have to be up there one of the GOATs. Not to say Giannis can't do it. It's like I just don't see him upstaging Kareem for that spot. And granted, if he stays there his entire career, people might talk about it. But if, say, Giannis were to leave, in the Lakers, it's kind of hard to talk about. And people will even say Kobe. And I would even be a part of that party, saying Kobe's the greatest Laker of all time.
He's the prototype Laker. Like, when you think of the Lakers, you either think LeBron because he's currently on the team, or Kobe Bryant. If it was like 2 or 3 years ago, Kobe Bryant.
I don't even think LeBron. I feel like when it's all said and done, I think people just affiliate LeBron. Like, yeah, he had a stint with the Lakers, and yeah, he won a championship, but he technically. Well, not even technically. As a matter of fact, LeBron won championships everywhere he's gone, technically. So.
I mean, not technically, yes.
Well, yeah, I said technically again, didn't I? So, yeah, so, matter of fact, LeBron has won championships everywhere he's gone.
Which is crazy to think about. I mean, if we're going to be technical about it, his first stint with Cleveland, he didn't win a championship.
No, but then he came back. He won a championship with the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
My thing is, how do you feel about Julius Erving's comments of, well, he did drop his all-time All-NBA players, and he had Michael Jordan on the second team, and LeBron wasn't anywhere on it. And it seemed like he was taking shots at LeBron, but also not, but mainly that's what people kind of took away from it. Because he was kind of pointing the finger at LeBron, saying LeBron James was responsible for super teams. When it comes to that argument, I don't remember. The youngest player on the first team was Oscar Robertson, and I believe Moses was on there.
Malone?
Yeah, and no, we're not gonna disrespect Moses like that.
No, I'm not disrespecting
No,
him,
but
he's
for
definitely not top five all
for the
time.
most part, Michael was on the second team, but for the most part, it was mainly players that
He played
that
against.
played against or played with.
So that's fair for him to say that.
No, but it's like all time. So it's like
He
him
stopped
saying
watching basketball after
he is saying that he was pretty much. To me, it kind of seems like he's saying all the players on the first team were better than Michael Jordan. And I don't know if he had Kobe on there or not, but I believe, because I didn't really look at the list fully, I didn't get a chance to kind of take a strong look at it and make an assumption. But once I heard the youngest player on the team was Oscar Robertson.
That's a red
yeah.
flag.
Because we're not going to just sit here. Because
And arguably, I know I'm going to probably catch some flag. Russell Westbrook and Oscar Robertson are tied. They're
quite.
Would you say Oscar is better?
I didn't watch him play, and granted, like, I don't know. I mean,
Russell
you
Westbrook,
got to
in my
put respect on Oscar's name. The Big O, he was the first person to ever average a triple double, and then Russ looked at that and be like, "Yeah, get out my face with all that." And it's crazy. Actually, I saw a graphic of the triple double leaders. I think for the last, not the last decade, but the last few years. Russ was the triple double leader. I think 7 of the last 8 seasons or something, and there was only 3 people on that list. Well, on that graphic, it was Russ, Luka, and Lance Stevenson.
Lance Stevenson
Had 5.
Yeah.
He had 5. Like those next few years was Westbrook, then Luka in the 1920 season, and then Westbrook again this season. And that just tails back to last week, to saying that people need to stop disrespecting Russell Westbrook. Yeah, there's time you get what you get with Russell Westbrook, but you know he's gonna play his heart out the best he can. But the main topic of today's show, instead of what I mentioned earlier, we're still gonna address most of the teams, mainly the teams that are on the upside, and see where the other teams are gonna be at. So first, let's just dive in to our Celtics. Jason Tatum.
60 points.
And we're talking about best player on the team. So let's just say this for the future. Because Jason Tatum, right? People would say Jason Tatum is the best player on the team. And yeah, 1A, 1B if you want to be like that with Jaylen Brown as well. And it's kind of hard, but they're trying. I remember Mike Gorman, of all people, the announcer for the Celtics, said Jaylen Brown and Tatum can't be leaders. And this was before he dropped 60 on that. And I don't know how to feel about that. Quite honestly, if you're the voice of the team, yes, you get an opinion. But you can't go and start saying things like that. Maybe he wants to use his reasoning is he wants to light a fire under them. But saying they can't be leaders or they're too young to be leaders, it sounds like no, we can't be pampering them, being they're too young, whatnot. Luka's, if anything, younger than them, if I remember correctly, and he's leading his team into the playoffs. We can't be doing a double standard like that, in my opinion, anyway. But I believe Jason Tatum could be the number 1 on the championship team, and Jaylen Brown, he could be a number 1B or number 2. Like if it came to this team winning a championship, I could see that happening. And shoot, we need all the greatness we can get for these last few weeks.
I can't watch Luka play in real time.
Why not?
He's
Why
so
not?
slow. Like it's got.
The hell is that?
He's just boring to watch in my opinion. But no, I'm not saying all the time.
Dude had like 31 points and 20 assists last night.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, but you're saying he's too slow and he's boring to watch. That's what you're saying. Yeah. See, like I disagree with you. It's not entertaining, but yeah, you were the guy who was jumping for joy when he hit that game winner last year against
Yeah,
the
because
Clippers.
that was crazy.
That's the thing. When you say he plays slow, I mean,
It's methodical, and I don't have a problem with that. It's a good thing that he plays
If you're
slow.
saying he plays slow, there's a lot bigger problems if you're a fan of like these big men like Joel Embiid or whatnot. If you're saying
I'm not
that
a
Luka
fan.
plays slow. No, but I'm saying guys like that, the big men of the league and all that. And besides, Luka's dazzling to watch when I do turn on a Mavericks game from time to time. And it's always fun to watch. But saying that he plays slow, I could give you that, I guess. But it's not like, again, he's not the most athletic guy in the league, but he knows what he's doing. It was funny, in his rookie season, I believe, he said it was easier to score in the NBA than it was in overseas.
Which is understandable. probably have different
Yeah, so okay. So Celtics hopefully will make the playoffs. I believe Mavericks are still in the mix, unless I should pull up the standings since we're talking
I
about
think
this.
Lakers are like 5th seed, which is great.
And right, LeBron just came back.
Yep.
Hold on, let's pull up the standings. And we can even make this a two-parter for next week's show, if anything. Yeah, I would say, let's just hold off on talking about the West right now. Let's talk about the East, and it would probably be good to talk about this now before the playoffs start coming around. But all right, let's talk about, it's kind of like a 3-year plan kind of thing. Let's see what goes on. So the Nets are first seed as of right now. They're a half a game ahead of the 76ers. But Brooklyn, yeah, they got Harden, they got KD, and they got Kyrie, and then they got Joe Harris as not second. Well, I guess secondary options. This is the first time you've seen like a 1A, 1B, and 1C kind of thing. And I don't.
Not true.
That's not true. So, what? Who's? Well, obviously, I think Kevin Durant's the clear number one. If you want to.
You said this is the first time that we've ever seen it.
No, I say something like that. 3 guys, all relatively in their prime. You got two of the 3 are MVP.
Golden State like 3 years ago.
No. Not no 1C. Klay Thompson, absolute dog. James Harden would drop his ass off.
You're acting like Klay couldn't go for 40.
But what I'm saying is, was Klay ever in conversations for MVP?
Kyrie wasn't, was he?
Kyrie has been around, but I'm talking about who would you think would be more realistic to get an MVP? Not compared to everybody else, but just these 2 guys, Klay Thompson and Kyrie Irving.
That's a fair point.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you got Curry 1A and 1B, and then you got Klay, who's a clear number 3.
So I get what you're saying. I thought you meant like this is the first time we've seen 3 people.
No. This is like a big 3 on drugs, you know?
Yeah, like you could ask all 3 of them to hand football. They could all score at will.
Yeah, it's like they want. But
like
the good
defense, I don't know.
But
about
the
that.
good thing is Harden. When you say score at will, Harden isn't been that guy. He's been more MVP style. This is like the Harden that any team would have.
Double.
And yeah, but like think about it. Their contracts are gonna come up in a span of 3 years or something like that.
Gonna resign.
But I don't think those unless they all take massive pay cuts. But quite honestly, if you're one of these guys and you think there's a big contract you can still get while you're leaving your prime, because not everybody's LeBron James. And shoot, if that becomes a trend that you see these superstar players like play like this until they're in their mid to late 30s.
I'm sorry, all 3 of them could play.
One of them could very much leave.
Yeah.
I think if anything, it would be more Harden to leave, if anything, quite honestly. Or maybe Kyrie, but I think I told you this before. I think Kyrie would sign.
I think KD would leave first.
Shoot, if he sees it's not working. Here's the thing. If they don't win a championship, or they don't make it to the finals this season.
That's gonna be hilarious.
No, well, yeah, that would be pretty funny. But I wonder how the implications would pan out. I would say, I would wonder, because there's plenty of things that would go crazy, you know. And
there's plenty of things that could go wrong in the playoff run too. Kyrie,
something could go wrong. It's very interesting to watch.
James Harden could play like he does in the playoffs.
We were I would say, when we first saw like LaMarcus Aldridge and who's the other person they picked up?
Blake.
Yeah, Blake. People were like, "Oh my God, this is like it's not fun anymore." But then LA retired, obviously, of course.
And Blake Griffin is still trash.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you don't like everybody was giving Blake Griffin the spotlight until after a few games. Now people don't really talk about Blake Griffin being on the team.
It's crazy to think about. Like 2 years ago, he was averaging 24.
Quite honestly, I think he could have still had that kind of energy in him, but dude started getting hurt again. So. Detroit? No, he was there for Blake was there for 2 years, I think, or like a year and a half. No, 2.5. Let's say that, because I believe he got traded in the 2017-18 season. He played out the rest of that season, then 2018-19, and then 19-20.
He was like the main option on those teams too. Like who else was going to?
Yeah, Detroit could have been in a really different situation, and quite honestly, I really wish they didn't let Christian Wood go. But I think they're doing okay for themselves. At least they have a path. But all right. Yeah. All right. So we talked about Brooklyn. Now because we'll go kind of at the top, they're at the bottom. So, and we kind of even talked a little bit about Detroit, and Detroit's 19-45.
Good God.
And they I don't know. At least they have an identity. At least they know they're clearly rebuilding, and they're looking towards the draft. So, yeah. All right, let's talk. All right, so Philadelphia. They're the number 2 seed. They're 42-21. This is kind of the first season that we really saw Embiid be like the MVP style Embiid. Granted, like Embiid's now to me is like the clear-cut number 1. And you know how there was always those
talks. He was always the number 1.
There was always those talks about who would you trade, Embiid or Simmons. There was be more towards Simmons, if anything. And
I don't see why you would trade Joel Embiid. Because Ben Simmons.
Yeah, that's dumb. That's like trading Shaq in his prime. I mean, or letting Shaq go. Because I feel Embiid has the potential to be like the modern day Shaq. Even though that was kind of. I know. I think we added that description to somebody else, like Zion. I said Zion would be kind of somebody like that.
I don't think. Yeah,
Zion's an absolute monster, and I don't even want to deep dive too far into that because we'll be talking about the West. But something that did include the 76ers is apparently the 76ers were interested in trying to make a trade for Chris Paul. I don't know if it was at the trade deadline, but CP said no. He didn't want to go to Philadelphia.
I wouldn't either.
But the thing is, like, I don't really want to talk about Chris Paul right now, but I got to at least say this. Chris Paul, the fact that this dude is doing everywhere he goes, every team he's gone to,
the Midas touch,
has gone better. He got that State Farm insurance on deck, be able to save teams. But now that the Suns have clinched the playoff berth.
He could have went to Detroit. They would have made a play.
CP, like, that's what I say is MVP. Like, that's what the ideal MVP should be. Somebody who makes the team better. Like, without them, the team wouldn't even made the playoffs instead. You got the Phoenix Suns, I believe, the 2nd seed in the West or something like that.
As opposed to not even making the playoffs.
Like, just imagine him going to Philadelphia. Let me ask you this question. If they had to trade Ben Simmons, even if it was straight up Ben Simmons for CP, so Ben Simmons goes to Phoenix, I mean, damn, that would be a scary ass team.
Wait, what? Why would he go to Phoenix?
No. I'm talking about in a trade. That trade for Chris Paul. If Chris Paul went to Philadelphia and they just traded Ben Simmons and nothing else, just straight up, or even Phoenix sent a draft pick for like the compensation for some whatever. But my thing is Philadelphia more of a favorite with CP instead of Simmons? That's the question I'm asking you. Honestly, would it be scarier to face Philadelphia if CP? You would say that if you're a team.
CP is more seasoned. He knows what he's doing, and Ben Simmons, sure.
I mean, CP can shoot better than Ben Simmons, of course.
Yeah, and he's. I feel like he brings a similar defensive impact because. He's a lockdown defender as well, which people forget about. Even though he's getting kind of old, it doesn't matter. But
that's great. I believe CP's 36 years old.
Still locking up your favorite fucking point guard. Excuse my language.
Yeah, I mean, okay, but I mean that's how Johnny feels about CP. Chris Paul has always been like a top player. He's been fun to watch.
Yeah.
But the 76ers right now still doing like they're showing the team. They're showing what the team could have been like. Quite honestly, you just got to see how they do in the playoffs. But the whole thing with Ben Simmons needs to get a jump shot, this, that, and the other. I'm convinced Mans is not going to get a jump shot for, like, he's gonna get one, but he's still going to be.
I feel like he has one. He's
gonna
be
be
scared to use it. Like,
no, he's like, that's not what the playbook's going to want me to do. Is just pull up and take threes. Like, if you're open, shoot.
That's what the coach wants you to do. Like,
no, but Doc Rivers, we can't discredit Doc Rivers for being like. If it was Brett Brown, I guarantee you, Mans would not be top 5 seed.
Yeah.
But
Brett Brown's not a good coach.
But see, I feel Doc has got a lot of crap with the whole Clippers situation and all that. And shoot, it looked like it was a good idea for both sides. I think the Clippers are still holding steady, but Doc Rivers more than anyone, I feel he should get the most. Well, not the most credit because again, the coach is only going to be able to establish the culture and just try to put you in a good position to succeed, But yeah, 76ers, I would say, one would say it's a surprise. I think people were expecting them to be this good eventually, So
Steph Curry was actually an underrated pick.
Yeah, that was a good pickup by them as well. When it comes to, now we're down to number 14, the Magic. The Orlando Magic. I remember Cole Anthony got a game winner for him, I believe, last night.
Last night?
I believe so. And, hey, at least...
He hit a game winner earlier this year.
Yes. Cole Anthony is. I haven't watched too many Magic games.
He's all right. He's not like.
He's not setting the world on fire right now.
Yeah, but he's averaging a smooth 14.
But hey, at least the Magic, again, is trying to find an identity. Get something the fans can get excited about. I wouldn't want to be a team that's middle of the pack. You don't know where you're going. You're too good to be bad, but you're not bad enough. Or you're too good to be a bad team, but you're a bad enough team to not be able to really push for a title or anything like that. So, hey, they decided, and they're like, you know what, we're going to blow it up. We trade Vucevic, trade Aaron Gordon, get whatever we can. They got Wendell Carter Jr., which I thought was really good. And
they also got Gary Harris.
Yeah, they got some young guys. They got some guys who weren't really, like the Nuggets aren't going to miss them. And I wonder if Gary Harris starts to set the world on fire, because you got Jeremy Grant, who was doing his thing in Detroit, and then you got, who else got traded? Nurkic in Portland. I don't know how he's doing this year, but
wait, where did he get traded?
Who?
What? Nurkic?
No, Nurkic is on the Trailblazers. He got traded from Denver to the Trailblazers a few years.
Oh yeah, you confused me. I was like, what? Where did you get traded?
Yeah, so that's what they had. So yeah, Orlando. Hey, you got your identity. You're a rebuilding team, and shoot, it looks like you're gonna get probably a good draft pick. I don't know who you're gonna go for, but
I want Gary Harris to play good. I like his game.
All right, up to the number 3 seed, the Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo-led Bucks. And Drew Holiday. They got Drew Holiday. Giannis obviously at the forefront. He's a clear number 1, obviously.
Drew Holiday is actually
got pooped really on by KPJ.
He's been playing really good though.
And KPJ let Drew Holiday know about it.
Technically, he didn't. That was not the plan.
But he was. So we would say Drew Holiday. That was his assignment. Was KPJ, and he got lit up for 50.
Was he guarding him the entire game?
I don't know. I didn't.
I only watched the first half.
But I think him saying something like that about Drew, and again, Drew Holiday.
They line up again soon.
All right, so Drew Holiday, good player.
Yeah,
good player. He got his money, and the Bucks are gonna just ride with this core now. Him, Chris Middleton, and Giannis, and Giannis is what makes this team go.
Yeah.
Chris Middleton, yeah, he can. I feel, say Giannis were to ever leave, and Chris Middleton was now like the number 1 guy, he'd probably do some good. He would actually probably deserve it. He'd probably get an All-Star nod that's deserved, but not to discredit him saying he's a bad player or anything like that. He's consistent, 20 points per game guy. He's a taller style shooting guard, but mainly I think they list him as a small forward and have Giannis at the power forward.
He's like a Michael Redd, basically.
I want to say he would remind me of Michael Redd if he had his own team, I guess. Yeah. But quite honestly, Michael Redd was still that. He was cold. Yeah. And and again, I think I don't know how I feel about Milwaukee when it comes to playoffs. We got to see, like, Drew, he's still a really good player. He's a damn good defender, all that stuff. Chris Middleton, he's either got like a king of consistency, I'd say. He has his bad nights and he has his really good nights. And shoot, he's a kind of an anomaly if you put him at the 2 guard. And then they got like DiVincenzo and some of these other.
He's been really
Brook Lopez. These guys who were kind of like these secondary pieces and like guys who are just there to help out.
DiVincenzo has definitely been really disappointing.
They go as far as Giannis takes them. Yeah. That's what I got to say about the Bucks. And then Cleveland. We can't talk about Cleveland without Kevin Love, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, great. Those guys. I know Darius Garland was kind of a bit of more of a surprise, but and people were kind of questioning, like, a small backcourt like that, if those guys were to play together. Sure, they make it work. They're lightning right there. And yeah, Kevin Love, it's a problem with Kevin Love. I mean, now he seems like he doesn't care for playing in Cleveland, like a Blake Griffin style situation. And nobody's gonna want to trade for him. And I think the Cavs don't want to buy him out either.
That's a lot of money.
But I think they're gonna have to come to an agreement and just buy him out, because nobody's gonna trade for him. It's like, you want to.
How many more years does he have left?
I think he has 2, something like that. But he's gonna pay a lot of money. They should have. I always thought this. You should have traded him as soon as they signed that contract. Traded him right then and there. And it was funny. Years ago, I remember I really wanted Kevin Love as a Boston Celtic when it was like Minnesota and he was actually on the trading block, because he was that dude. He was that he has
a good looking jump shot.
People were always looking that Kevin Love was got to get back to being that 26 and 10 guy. Granted, it might have been empty stats because he was playing for a bad team, and I wouldn't even say go that far and be like, oh, Kevin Love was like the NBA knew that Kevin Love was good. He was good. If you put prime Kevin Love anywhere, like plug him in on a team. He was helping that team. Prime Kevin Love giving you like 25 points at 10. Granted, not 25 points if he was on a different team, but he would be better.
If it was his team?
Not even if it was his team.
Like, what, 40% from three?
But it's not even if it was his team. But what I'm saying is that people wouldn't have been giving him so much crap.
Yeah.
And the same thing, it's like, hey, he helped deliver a championship. Granted, he didn't do a whole lot, but I mean, people were thinking, Kevin Love couldn't go back to how he was when Kyrie got traded.
I feel like that's when they should have changed.
And then when LeBron left, Kevin Love's maybe we'll see throwback Kevin Love make an appearance again.
Like,
that didn't happen. And then this year, this dude is barely, I don't even think he's cracking 10 points a game. And I think that's the first time since he was first breaking into the league. And I know he's been a great ambassador for mental awareness and stuff with him and DeMar DeRozan, this, that, and the other. I get it. But you got to get Kevin Love out of Cleveland. Kevin Love got to find a way to get out of there. Going to any team. Shoot, even Brooklyn might try to pick his ass up.
God, I hope not.
But I mean, I don't know where else he could go.
We know that.
No, I wouldn't even want to be. Maybe if it was like a minimum or something, he could be like a 4 or 5, and he can knock down a couple jump shots. That's cool. But no way, ain't nobody training for that contract. All right, so we talked about Cleveland. Cleveland has a good upside when it comes to their guard play. They just need to get some supplementary piece. I know they let Kevin Porter go.
That all because he threw some. Actually, no, that was JR.
No, that was all because he got mad because Torian Prince took his locker.
Of all people.
No, but it was like
it wasn't Torian's fault. They just put him there.
Yeah, so that goes to show how much Cleveland really cared about their young guy.
I really don't know why KPJ wasn't playing. I forgot.
I don't know. Shoot, hey, maybe he got his wish. Maybe he didn't even want to play that. But yeah, Cleveland. I guess tank for Bronny. I guess. All right, but now we're talking about the 4 seed, and this is it's odd because like the 4 through 7 seeds are all like right there with each other. So New York Knicks. I guarantee you at the beginning of the season, ain't nobody was saying the New York Knicks were going to be the 4th seed. And
have they closed the playoff spot?
I don't know, but their odds are pretty good anyway. And
I mean, if you said what seed are they?
They're the 4th.
You said 4 through 7.
4 through 7 is kind of right there, and there's a little drop off between the 8, 9,
they go on
and 10
a losing
seeds.
streak.
Hey, but they've been
Hopefully
playing.
not.
They've been playing how Knicks fans have wanted them to play. Gritty. They are not a very good offensive team, but they are one of the top in defense. So that when that whole defense wins championships, that holds true. And
that'd be really funny.
But get this, I believe whoever is the 4th and 5th seed, right? They play whoever is the 1st seed, whoever wins 1st and 8th seed.
I think so.
Something like that. Actually, no. I think 1st seed wins whoever is 3 and 8, not 3 and 8, 3 and 6, or something like that. I forget what it is, but I'm pretty sure Knicks fans would clamor to get a shot at Brooklyn. They would.
Guess what?
That would be way. Hey, that it's worked out perfectly for them this year. They're not the greatest offensive team, but they're one of the tops in defense, and that's what Knicks fans look for. They look for gritty players, and it's like kind of like us, but they're more extreme. They're looking for guys who kind of wear the Knicks colors with pride and all that stuff.
Like Elfrid Payton.
Julius Randle, he dog, and yeah, the Knicks. I believe he said like Knicks saved his career, something like that. And Tibbs, we can't discredit him. I know everybody was trying to find all the negative. They were trying to discredit. Hey, he probably has a good chance to too. But they were trying to discredit him, like being he's got to run the young guys into the ground. But hey, top in the league.
The only young guy who's ran into the ground is Kevin Knox, and he's horrible.
Quite honestly, they probably would just look to move him. He'd probably just be a young guy.
I feel like he's not gonna get another chance on any type of team.
No, I feel like he will. But hey, we can't ever discredit. He was bad. He's bad on this team, and then he gets moved, and like, he sets the world on fire.
Why do you keep using him?
Sets the world on fire? Because why not? The dude dude becomes. You can get hot, right? You just start lighting it up.
And I was just wondering why you kept saying it.
I mean, shoot, NBA Jam, like you're on fire.
I miss NBA Jam. I wish I had it.
But that's the thing when it comes to certain players. Some players, they go and they start breaking out. Sometimes a change of scenery is good.
You know what we gotta buy? Well, which I'm going to probably buy NBA Playgrounds too. That game came out like 2-3 years ago.
But like just weird.
And there's a season mode.
Nah. All right, so 12th seed, which is weird. Toronto.
Wait, what?
26-38 is the Toronto Raptors.
I didn't even know that.
I don't believe Kyle Lowry's staying, unless he really loves being there. But Siakam played like poop. Van Vliet, he's been good, and he's got to be kind of like a souped up version of what Kyle Lowry was. I feel he could be like 20-point per game guy, and he's kind of showed it this season. I think he's averaging like 19, something like that. So you got that to look forward to, and shoot, you got a lottery pick, so you know. And yeah, they were like bad at the beginning of the season, and then started turning up, and then started playing bad again. Yeah, so I guess it's not great to be a Toronto Raptor fan right now, but
especially losing Game 7 to us last year.
Not really. I know you got Gary Trent. I don't know how he's been playing recently. I know he was playing pretty good. He had that 43-point game, 44. But hey, you got some stuff to look forward to, I guess. Not really much to say there. The Hawks are 5th seed. And I like how it is when it comes to sports. When some of the teams that were pretty bad the year before, they start getting some good players. They are not good players, but they start getting better, you know? So, Hawks, Trae Young. Good player.
Definitely didn't play up to par this season.
But I mean...
Compared to last season.
No, but here's the thing. I think a player would rather not play would rather have their stats go down and be a part of a winning culture.
Yep.
And shoot, they've done their thing. They've done their thing. Can't discredit them about that. You got some vets in Gallinari and I don't really keep too much tabs on.
I wouldn't say Bogdanovic is a vet.
No, but I mean, hey, they got some good pieces. Yeah. So, do I think they'll make noise in the playoffs? Not entirely sure. If the playoffs were to start today, they would have been facing the Knicks in the first round. And quite honestly, I think I would have my money on New York. Yeah. Because I think they would find a way to dismantle their offense. And I think it's Trae Young's team, but I think it goes more to how far they'll get. But yeah, I don't know. Not too much for me to say. You got anything to say about Atlanta?
I'd probably say that they've had an above-average point guard for probably the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's Schroeder before, right?
Yeah, and before that they had Jeff Teague.
Yeah, but Jeff
Teague has actually got 10K points, like
10,000 points.
Yeah.
Well, good for him. He got some of those in Boston. So okay, number 11. We're starting to get to decent teams, I guess, but. Bulls, they're kind of tied. They're tied with Toronto, 26-38. Yeah, so don't know what to say about the Bulls. That Vucevic trade, it was supposed to be kind of thing that put them over, not over the top, but get them back into playoff contention. Didn't work. And
I would say that because Zach LaVine helped Brook.
No, I get it, but this season kind of like put some respect on Zach LaVine's name. Yeah. He's not. When it comes to the whole talk about empty stats, it's kind of hard to. You can't say
his stats lead to wins most of the time.
Yeah, so I mean, he's a big responsibility for that team, and yeah, we just got to see what they'll do next year.
And plus, it's a step up from when they thought Antonio Blakeney was about to be the next
big.
He was a bucket though. You can't even lie.
I didn't keep tabs.
If you watch some of his highlights, or not even highlights, just some of the film, he was pretty good.
Well, Bulls, hopefully you got something to look forward to with that 1-2 punch. Yeah, hopefully. And I feel like they'll be a sneaky good team next year if they make the right moves. Yeah. And we're talking about the 6th seed now. And quite honestly, we can talk about the Celtics and the Heat, but we already kind of touched upon the Celtics and know where they can. If the team kind of starts heating up again and if they can kind of cement and just play how the Celtics are supposed to be playing, that's a very scary 6th seed. We'd be facing Milwaukee in the opening round. And quite honestly, I wouldn't be as nervous about it because Daniel Tice ain't on the team no more. And it's funny how we're talking about that. It's like we just finished talking about the Bulls, but a fan said that Boston misses him.
We do not.
I'm not going to speak for every Celtics fan because I'm pretty sure the Celtics fans that like Tice. And yeah, I think he was doing the best he could while he was here, but dude was getting pooped on.
Never seen someone get dunked on that many times in a row.
But yeah, it's like you can't expect him to guard Embiid, you can't expect him to guard Giannis, you can't. But now Robert Williams, oh my God, he's fun to watch. He's finally getting that starting nod. That dude is an answered prayer, man. I remember in the game against Charlotte, in his first game back, the Celtics were on a skid. He comes back, they win the game. What was it? He got a chase down block. I believe it was on Terry, and you know their commentator, we like going over the top. He was about to start getting crazy. You got Rob Williams just rise up and just not snatch it, but it was one of those that could have been.
Yeah, I know.
And then he just says, "Get that out of here," pretty much.
And they were teammates. I thought they were having so much fun.
So Rob Williams, he answered prayer, or not even answered prayer, but answered prayer that he gets the starting job. Yeah. Taco's always fun.
Need 4 minutes. I'm telling you, develop Taco.
I mean, shoot, and Naismith right now. He's kind of like Marcus Smart's little brother right now. And I feel if that's something he wants to get into, by all means. And then I believe Jabari Parker's been fun.
I had no idea he was on the team up until like maybe 2 years ago.
Until the first time he was actually playing. And
I solid.
Him, Fournier, it's
Fournier needs to step it up. I'm not even gonna lie, man.
Have you even watched him recently?
No,
Fournier's doing his job.
Yeah, he had a good game.
Doing his job.
But
and it's funny. You didn't think they would make these many moves. Like, it's always fun seeing plays that you weren't expecting.
That's such a weird amalgamation of players. Like, Jabari Parker, Evan Fournier, who else is on the team? Marcus Smart. It's like a bunch of not personalities, but people you wouldn't expect to play together.
Tristan Thompson was doing a good job. And shoot, I think he's kind of been like, hey, I don't mind. Rob Williams, you got that. Then, you know what? I know we talked about Westbrook last week, 10 seed. And also, Celtics and Heat are tied for the 6th seed. And we can probably even catch Atlanta and make it up to the 5th. And quite honestly, if we go on a nice run again, we can probably even overtake the 4th seed. But granted, it would have to just fall into place. But who knows? I don't remember how many games are left. From the looks of it, it is 45. Like 44 games. It's a decent amount of the season, I guess, left. But when it comes to the Celtics, yeah, we just gotta wait and see what happens. Wizards, I know we talked a lot. I talked a lot about Westbrook last week, so we kind of can set the whole Westbrook narrative to the side. But if the Wizards find a way to make it, because right now they're in the play-in tournament, if I understand correctly. And I said this last week, if the Wizards, they can be a scary seed to match up with if the pieces fall into place, you know? So, and we can probably get that Westbrook versus KD matchup that we never got when these guys were both in Golden State and OKC. So, yeah, and then Bradley Beal, I don't think anybody wanted to be seeing Bradley Beal in the playoffs.
Especially if they're a shooting guard.
Well, but you see what I mean? It's like, it's scary. You just got to see how the guys around him are going to do. But Wizards, you just got to hope that either you could trade Bradley Beal to get something good, or you got to hope that you guys can kind of get a change in cultures in order. You know? So I think that's the big thing with the Wizards. They need to start winning games before they start to make that Chris Paul trade. And then but yeah, Wizards, you know, it'd be fun. Heat, I don't know.
They shouldn't even made it all the way to the finals.
Hey man, like, I can't discredit Bam.
I love everybody on the Heat, but like,
I can't discredit Bam. Tyler Hero, people after that series against the Celtics,
was hyping him up, and now look at him, horrible.
No, he was doing like things that people were expecting him to do. He was like that 17-point per game guy, but now he's like 15-point per game guy.
A horrible efficiency too, like that.
Well, what's he shooting?
I actually have no idea.
All right, well, then we can't be saying stuff like that.
But actually, I think the last time I saw it, because I look on Basketball Reference a lot, I think it was like 39%. But I could be wrong. Not from the field.
But hey, I don't know. But he's still young. This is only his second season in the league.
Which is hard to believe. He was playing great.
Duncan Robinson's been good. You got Bam, who's going to probably lead that team after Jimmy's kind of like, starts taking the back seat. And quite honestly, maybe Jimmy has. And maybe Jimmy's like, hey, this is your team. I'm here to help you. But yeah, it'll still be a scary team to match up with. And I think
they keep playing with Jimmy Butler. He has a C+ 3-pointer, bro. That's just.
I mean, but Jimmy hasn't really been shooting threes like that anymore.
Yeah, but a B+ mid-range.
Hey, Jimmy's that mid-range killer.
Hey, he deserves it.
Yeah. But hey, he scary team to live. They would be facing 76ers.
That's a scary matchup.
It's going to be fun. Long story short, the playoffs are going to be fun. All right, we're almost done here. We got 2 teams left, and we can even talk about both at the same time. Pacers and the Hornets. Let's talk about the Pacers first. Karis LeVert, that just goes to show how much Houston Houston messed up and really kind of struck gold a little bit at the same time.
Just think about it. They probably would have played Karis at the point guard and then have KPJ Redson.
Yeah,
actually, they would still have
Karis always had that ability. He can be that 20-point per game guy. I feel next year it was kind of like he'll have his, hey, I'm here. He can show up and be like, hey, I'm here. You put some respect on me. And now they kind of have 3 20-point per game threats now. Malcolm Brogdon. Again, we don't even have to talk about this. Bucks are dumb for letting him go. Because imagine if he was somehow still on the team. I forgot who they traded him for.
I think he signed.
Yeah, actually, yeah, they just let him go. Because imagine if it was Drew Holiday, Malcolm Brogdon, you had Middleton, and then Giannis, and then Brook Lopez. That'd be scary. I don't know if they would still be able to make that Drew Holiday trade happen. But if they were be able to find a way to do that, I mean, their bench probably would have been, so. But Malcolm Brogdon, underrated player. Sabonis, underrated player. I feel people don't give him enough credit for being as good of a player he is. I wouldn't even say he's a poor man's Jokic. I think he's an average man's Jokic, I guess. But he's still a really good player. He all-star.
I'd say he's a rich man's Domantas Sabonis.
Okay. So, but hey, he got some respect put on his name this year, being an all-star and all that. And then you got LeVert, who's kind of, I wouldn't say long-term project because he's a good player. And he can be that 22, 23 to 25 point per game guy, depending how crazy you go get. And now it's kind of, maybe if he finally has some stability, because he got traded twice. Yeah, technically, because he got traded to Houston. Houston didn't want him, so that goes to show how much Houston really cared about Karis. But interesting.
It shows how much Brooklyn cared about
TJ McConnell. No, but I mean, damn. If anything, Houston should have got way more for James Harden. But now we know where Houston's going to fall at. So, but Karis, good player. TJ McCollum, all those secondary guys. Jeremy Lamb in Indiana. Indiana, good team. Very, very overlooked because granted it's Indiana, but you ain't going to see no Kevin Durant going to no Indiana. But hey, more power to you guys. I know it's kind of been 30-33. I feel like I haven't watched too many Pacers games, if any. So I think that record doesn't hold all the answers. And then Charlotte, final team. They're the AC, so they'd be going up against Brooklyn. And quite honestly, I think they would. I want to know if they would make it a series or not. I think they would play hard. And if Gordon Hayward, I don't believe he's hurt anymore. I know LaMelo just came back, so hey, I'm pretty sure people would just love to see Charlotte in the playoffs. Granted, if they get swept or whatever. They have a fun culture in Charlotte, and it makes it fun to actually be a part of playing for Charlotte. And yeah, I guess they bounced back pretty well from the whole Kemba Walker situation. Terry doing his thing. Terry's has the ball in his hands and all that. And then you got they have so much guard play. They have Gordon, who's going to be Gordon, kind of like runs the one sometimes. You got LaMelo, and then you got Graham. We forget about Devontae Graham. And I don't think he'll be on the team so much longer if it's clear cut that LaMelo's going to be the number one. If he doesn't mind playing shooting guard or anything like that, but I think what they'll do, they would just try to just trade him, maybe get something for him. And yeah, so like, hey, they got a fun culture. If their team is bad, at least if you got a good culture going, it gives you something to look forward to. You got anything else to say? What are your thoughts on Charlotte?
Definitely a lot of guard play, but I feel like
Miles Bridges is fun to watch.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot of tear.
dude couldn't have done this last season for my fantasy team.
I feel like that last year was kind of shaky.
I was
there
kind of
wasn't really that much difference.
But now, pretty much, if you got a good culture, it really doesn't matter how good. Like, the winning's gonna come later on. You develop a good culture and have good chemistry, and have people have fun watching you guys play. Your expectations, like when it comes to expectations, I don't think people are really expecting a lot of these teams to be where they're at. But hey, we got through the whole Eastern Conference. You know, West is next week. But I'd say, hey, it was a good idea to do all this, you know. And just some miscellaneous stuff to talk about, just to kind of wrap things up here. I know we talked about the Julius Erving situation. What are your thoughts? What would be your top 5 players if you had to do an all NBA all time? At each, it don't even have to be at each position. Just top 5 players that can even just be your favorite player.
Kobe. Kobe's my favorite.
All right, so but it would have to be guards. Well, point guard, shooting guard. Let's do that. Let's just keep it simplistic.
Kobe Bryant. Tracy McGrady. Kyrie. James Harden.
No, it doesn't have to be super like all guards. I'm talking about like your 5 like top favorite players at each position, and then you can do 6.
So just like my favorite point guard, shooting guard, okay. So,
Yes.
My favorite point guard probably in the league right now is probably Kyrie.
And this is like kind of all time your favorites.
Yeah. Shooting guard. My favorite shooting guard is probably Bradley Beal. Favorite small forward.
This is all time.
No, this is just the league right
No,
now.
I'm talking about just all time because I was talking about
all time. Then in that case, my favorite point guard.
You can still pick Kyrie if you wanted to.
Nah, but my favorite point guard ever.
Or I mean, if you're still going, you can do in the league. Do it however you want. But
So yeah, if we're gonna do it ever,
just do context. Just make sure I add the context.
so my favorite at each position ever: point guard, Russell Westbrook;
Okay.
shooting guard, Kobe Bryant; small forward, Carmelo Anthony; power forward, my favorite power forward. That's a good question.
KG.
He's up there. Yeah, I'd say KG. And my favorite center, probably. My favorite center. Would Zach Randolph be considered a center?
I mean, he would probably be considered more of a power forward, but I mean, if you want to put him there, I guess.
I like.
Wait, who'd you have at small forward again?
I said Carmelo.
Oh, Melo. Okay. For me, a favorite point guard ever. Ooh. That's a tough one because I don't want to say Steph because I love Steph. Steph is great, and yeah, I gave him crap when he was playing with KD and all that stuff. But favorite point guard ever, I would have to go with Chris Paul because he's just fun to watch even now. Shooting guard. Shooting
You're
guard.
not gonna get chastised if you don't say Kobe.
No, I'm not. I wasn't gonna say. I love Kobe. Don't get me wrong. I love Kobe, but I wouldn't even like. I would have to say. I would say it would either be Ray Allen.
I knew it. Yeah, I was gonna say it.
Oh yeah, Ray Allen. T-Mac's up there. Vince maybe as a shooting guard, but I would say if anything, a guy who I always loved was Ray Allen.
Small forward, Paul Pierce.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. It's Paul.
I
was gonna say Melo's up there too. Melo's really close. Power forward, KG. Like, and I don't want to do the whole Celtics big three, and like I feel like that would just be boring. So I guess biased.
I mean,
but I'm talking about like guys like, and it wasn't even like the way KG just went about himself as like just a dog. Like, you ain't gonna talk shit to him, and he's like no, KG's that dude who's gonna put you on your ass and let you know about it.
And talk about your mom.
Yeah, man, and then make fun of you and your mom, and then so that's why I would say I don't know. I guess I would put. Yeah, so I guess, screw it. Just put the whole Celtics big three there.
Who's your favorite center?
Favorite center?
Shaq.
I'll probably say Shaq. Yeah. Shaq, same thing. We're going to make fun of your mom and dunk on you.
Yep.
Shaq was just absolute nuts. I put respect on guys like Hakeem and even guys who were like in the league now, like Embiid's really good. But yeah, those guys, you know, there's plenty of players. It's just hard to think about one. And even LeBron James is somebody I would even put up there too. And it's funny how neither one of us said Michael Jordan, but I mean, hey, we acknowledge Mike as one of the top 2 greatest players of all time.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you didn't even include a 6-man.
Oh, 6-man? Not even to be funny, but Jamal Crawford.
I mean, hey, if you want to stick to the whole 6-man context,
No,
I mean,
but he's definitely.
if we're talking about, I guess if we're talking about guys off the bench, I guess. But
No, he's definitely one of my favorite players ever.
yeah, Jamal's fun. You know, me, I'm not gonna stick to the whole context, but yeah, if anything, I'll put LeBron against 6-man. Not to say that I would have LeBron not start over Paul Pierce if it came down to it. Like you got the death ray pointed at Earth, and you need to hit a shot. But give me Andre Iguodala. No. But hey, you know what? That was fun. So
Look directly at the camera.
and
Iguodala.
a couple of things we should probably talk about. Well, on this day in history, anyway. So IT 4 years ago today dropped 53 on what would have been China's birthday. Rest in peace, China.
It was Gianna Bryant's birthday yesterday. I think it was.
Well, all happy birthday to her as well.
15.
And I know it's kind of like just, I feel it's a more of an uplifting mood. And people don't really put so much respect on IT's name. IT was 12 points away from breaking the all-time single game record in points for a playoff game. People, like, again, yeah, 12 points. All right, but the fact that just cements the legacy of him being the greatest player under 6 foot. So, IT, I give you all that. And I believe it was 7 years ago today that Damian Lillard put the Rockets to sleep when he shot over, I believe, who was it, Chandler Parsons? Damn. So, that just goes to show Damian Lillard, that dude. We're going to talk about him a little bit more next week when we talk about the West and see how the West is going to shape up and all that, which will be a fun show. So, I hope you guys were to stick around for that. But hope you guys enjoyed. Everyone, stay happy, stay healthy. No, don't want to say anything. Nothing else really to say. John, you got anything else to say?
Happy Sunday. I was gonna come up with some motivational bullshit.
Nah, but you know what? Keep smiling. Just, I don't know, call somebody up and tell them you love them. You know? But we'll talk to you guys next week. Love you guys.